1. The antenna floats above Wisco 10 traffic airspace, a massive broadcast tower rising to the clouds from a glittering kite-shaped base. Relay lights twinkling, the jewelry of a timeless, disinterested titan, a pillar in the sky with the time-tested resolve of the rising sun. It has been 500 years since the revolution, and bells ring, because all is well at 7 o'clock. Cosmus Redstone makes egg coffee per his morning routine, a bit of intentional quiet before the rush of appointments and the mad dash via the Hyperloop to Sun Prairie or Marshfield or wherever the Order of Lethe patients will take him as processed case requests trickle in. There is a system for everything, he thinks, stirring watery grounds, dropping in the whites and the yolk. On the stove, one of the efficiency's few amenities, the pot reaches a boil. The yellow-tinted morning streams through the recessed window that overlooks spires and the still hanging streamers from the week-long OneGov celebration, factory stacks and streamers and the skyscrapers of the past bustling with city business, people swarming like ants. And above everything, the antenna stands like a statue, a permanent monument to the unification, to the end of war, the end of hunger and homelessness and overpopulation, the end of despots, the end of ice cream headaches. But they never quite managed to keep everything perfectly clean for very long, Cosmus considers, and nobody can seem to remember the exact circumstances that brought things from then until now. To be sure, there'd been food shortages and militias, neighbor versus neighbor, blood in the streets, but a relative peace had followed, enabled by fertility monitoring and forced by viral contraceptive adoption and off-world migration, an exodus to the moon and beyond. The exact details feel foggy, the specifics murky. To live, he says, above the birds. He makes a mental note to consult the archives on the specifics of the Reconstruction period and its tangent to the modern era. He pours the brown coffee sludge into the basketless percolator and dials back the heat, setting the lid atop the boiling liquid. On the periphery, job list reminders creep into his field of vision. Bullet points splash into view, a follow-up check with Seymour Wasoda, a pre-assessment consultation for Ada Half Moon. Cosmus straightens and faces the mirror above the sink, smoothing his duster, pulling it tight. He runs a comb along his part. His hair retains an oily sheen and lays flat, smooth, black, cut short to appear unremarkable to grant anonymity and avoid making too much of an impression. His eyes, on the other hand, have become slightly heterochromatic. One shaded blue, the other leaning more toward brown, a subtle difference most people wouldn't register, the kind of detail a person notices about himself and worries will one day be exposed. He steps into his boots and pulls the straps tight. It occurs to him that he hasn't bathed in 3 days. The antenna floats in the sky. Cosmus pours a glass of cold water onto the floating egg coffee raft and cuts the heat. His travel bag sits by the door, and he turns, stooping, opening the top clasps, a quick once-over of the monitor and the sample tubes, the thermometer and the otoscope banded to the inside pocket. Bottles of medications and tinctures wear snug labels. The medical waste compartment has recently been emptied. Syringes with fresh green caps fill the clear box. Cosmus drops 2 mints into the freshness pouch and grips the handle's gene reader. The audio data port illuminates, a soft green light. All accounted for, he says. Very good, sir, Alan says. While newer AI iterations often make grand entrances, deifying themselves with fantastic bodies of luminescence, appearing as angels offering divine inspiration and aligned with establishment anecdotes, older support algorithms lead harried existences, coordinating with scores of clients while passively listening to network chatter and filtering for whatever the old guard finds subversive. Will you be requiring additional services this morning? Alan asks. If I need a helping hand, I'll go ahead and make the executive decision to light my socks on fire, Cosmus says. Your socks are made from a fire-retardant synthetic blend, engineered to be cloud-soft, yet inert in the presence of flames. You're no fun. The belly of a taxi dives past the window, curving as it drops, leveling on a course for the Unity Center, the shimmer of precipitation curling around fan jets that rotate, correcting for the descent. This is a key difference between haves and have-nots, Cosmos contemplates. Taxis as opposed to the Hyperloop, customized pruning treatments, preferred placement on the population list, a handful of entitlements that occasionally ruffle the feathers of the slighted knots, despite substantial standard of living improvements from centuries long forgotten, certainly in the ways that matter, he notes, especially with regard to violence and famine and devastation, and if a few proud relics need accommodations to feel better about their storied lives, the balance remains a small price to pay for social prosperity. Cosmos has been alive for 503 years and, thanks to his gainful employment, has never experienced the ravages of old age. Not a gray hair, not a touch of arthritis. He pours coffee through a wire strainer, then sips from his glass cup, steam wisping from amber liquid. He remembers the recurring dreams he's been having about tea with his long-dead grandmother, wicker chairs, a circular table made from an antique bicycle rim, Earl Grey with milk and honey. He's always telling her what's happened since they last met. New OneGov cloud cities on Venus, efforts to reclaim ancient coastlines from the ocean, these kinds of things. She's spoken at length. Long, meandering replies, procedural elements dissolving like sugar cubes in espresso, something about machinations set in motion. He watches the departing taxi veer from its course to the Unity Center and collide with the construction crane that buckles with the impact, the jib swinging wildly as the counterweight leans, truss on a line from the hook block, swinging into an office building before the entire assembly smashes through a row of brick tenements near the plaza, a plume of dust rising as the buildings cave and the equipment falls to rest. Humans scatter like ants. Torn OneGov celebration streamers flap and fall back, playing against gleaming steel, leaping with the wind like the tails of pack animals swishing at flies. It occurs to Cosmos that there will be delays at the Hyperloop, delays that will be excused, but delays nevertheless.